She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cock-a-crow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cock-a-crow, dog-a-bag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck-a-quack. Cock-a-crow, dog-a-bag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck-a-quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now a come home. The naga jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell some picnic a there with fright. Oh Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma Bura Nancy, even Watamuma. Oh Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma Bura Nancy, even Watamuma. Yeah man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country.
just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hook up tight. No time to waste. I wanna body, on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm.
All right, good evening. Ensure that you support those businesses, right? What is it? Okay, there we go. Andrew's Supermarket. Good evening to the folks there. Go out and support these businesses. Support. Rush down to Andrew's Supermarket. Support the businesses within your community, right? And you know those businesses within your community, they need your support. So go out and support places like Andrew's Supermarket in South Aubrey Barker Road. You can't miss it. And then look, we got some of these young people who basically they have this, registration for music class, right? It's in Guyana. It's at the Maltinos Club, Sports Club. And the numbers are there. Give these young people a call and support them. Send your kids with these youngsters and teach them to play the guitar, voice training, keyboard, drums, whatever it is. Support these young people. The telephone numbers are there on the screen. Just support them. All right. And let me see what else can we do? Who else can we ask that you support? This business, you can't miss it. Support them. They're in New York, they're in Brooklyn. Go out there and support the folks at the uniform store. Just go out there and support them. Let me say good evening to all of you. We got some folks all the way in Skeldon. They are looking at us, and I got a little surprise for you guys this evening. Let's begin right away. Lemon, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Good evening.
Good to have you. Are you celebrating anything for us to celebrate the Republic anniversary? One Guyana. Let me get your take on all of these things, Lemon. But good to see you tonight. I wish we could see you, but it's okay. We'll do with your audio for now. But good evening.
Good evening to all the listeners and 107.1 on the ground, and happy Mashramani to all of our fans.
All of your fans too. You got lots of fans, Lemon. But what does this? I know back in the days in Guyana, there were Mashramani all over. People were looking forward to celebrate. There was this unity, at least for the most part. People felt like Guyanese. It wasn't a divided country as we're seeing now, as corrupt as it is now. But what's your fondest memory or memories of Mashramani, sir? Lemon?
Yeah, Mashramani used to be very nice. You enjoy, you're looking forward for the mash. Now, since the install regime going to power, it's kind of, you're not looking forward for that anymore. This seems like an Indian something, like Diwali. That's what I want to make it.
All right. Okay. So it's because there are a lot of our Indian brothers and sisters who are going through lots of hardship, Lemon. Lots of hardship. Trust me. And a lot of them are listening to this program. So even our Indian brothers and sisters are suffering. They don't have it easy as well, Lemon. Trust me, they don't have it easy. Terry Weeks, good evening to you all the way in London. I should say good morning to you, Terry Weeks. Nice to have you tune in, Terry, DJ Terry. Yeah,
yes,
lots of Guyanese, regardless of their ethnicity. They're suffering under the PPP. But go ahead. I have Savitri is listening to me. Savitri is saying, tell him, Mark. Then they have Ruperti Jack Davis listening. And then we have our friends them out in Skeldon and all over there listening to us. Lots of our Indian brothers and sisters are suffering under the PPP, installed PPP regime. Start over, Lemon. Go ahead.
Happy Mashramani to all the Guyanese and in the diaspora. Happy Mashramani to everybody.
What's your fondest? What do you really remember of MASH?
I remember a MASH when I was small. You're looking forward for the 23rd of February to go out there, see the floats, the culture of Guyana, the floats, enjoy yourself. You're looking forward for that.
And now nothing at all.
And now nothing.
Quick question. What is your take on this obsession by male members of the PPP, members of parliament, obsessed over dildos? What is your take on what this little rascal has said about the dildo and directing it to female members of the opposition?
Well, I don't want to say it on air, but
please don't. Go ahead.
I think he need a dildo, personally. And personally, I think he need it.
We got you. We heard you loud and clear. But outside of that, you might have a point. But outside of that, and maybe all of them, the male ones and the
they should have suspended him. They should have suspended from Parliament. Okay. Why they get him there? Why they still have him there and suspend, Duncan?
I don't know, sir.
Well, I be out there on tomorrow protesting.
Go out and protest, man.
I will be there.
Go out. Walk with a lemon in your pocket. Don't let them know that you're lemon, though.
I will.
All right? Thank you so much, though, for your time.
Thank you very much. And back to work.
Okay. Head back in Studio B. We'll show your face sometime. A lot of people want to see your face, Lemon. Lots of people. But now is not the time, right?
No, now is not the time. Soon, though.
Now is not the time. Thank you so much, Lemon. Head back.
Thank you again. Okay.
Lemon. And now look, persons, when I'm on the air and you get a notice that that you're blocked from writing, I don't know I keep saying the same thing, that if you can listen to the program, you can see me, you can hear me, but you're blocked from writing, it is not my fault. I block trenches. We block trenches. We throw trenches in the trench. We have no apologies for that. But when you receive a notice that that the host Mark Benshop has actually blocked you or something, y'all stop sending me these messages even when I'm on air. There's nothing that I can do, and I haven't blocked you. I mean, I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but there's nothing that I can do. A friend, well, a listener, messaged me to say that he got blocked. I understand you're on here. Oh, good. Thank you. My apologies, but thank you. If you understand, there's nothing I can do. But why I keep getting this blocking from writing any comments? I don't know. I just don't know. I wish I knew. But I'm sorry that you're blocked from making comments, sir. I'm really sorry. I don't know what is going on at Facebook end. I really don't know. But I can't help. And then sometimes people blame me for blocking them. I'll take a quick break.
She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockacrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockacrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockacrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now I come home. Inaga jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright.
All right, welcome back. I know it's Mashramani night. People are around. We were trying to ensure that we have our guests. We were expecting another guest on. We're going to have some folks on just for a quick couple of minutes each. And, you guys haven't seen J.R. Crawford for a while. You haven't seen him. So I just thought I'd give him a quick call and ask him what's going on in Guyana, especially out there in the quarantine for Mashramani. J.R., good night. How are you?
Good night, everyone. How are you doing?
Yep. Good evening. Sorry about that. The volume was down. How are you?
I'm quite well so far.
All right. Give us a quick rundown. What's going on the quarantine? Rosal, New Amsterdam, Alnis, Philippi, Adventure, Kildone, and those are places, Eversherman and Leeds Village, Corriverton, they were bright Mashramani time. Give us a quick rundown. What's happening today on the current team?
Well, the little that I went out, I haven't seen anything. I mean, as if you were a foreigner, you wouldn't have known today's national holiday. There was no events planned. There's nothing, and coupled with the rain all day, but you could have seen that there was no effort from anybody in authority to celebrate the Republic.
Wait a minute. Nobody, no celebration. But I thought I read somewhere that they had a flag raising ceremony yesterday in New Amsterdam last night.
Well, it could have been, but what I'm saying, it's so dead. You not even loud music you're hearing. There is no celebration. There's nothing.
Is it because of the rain? Because I heard it's been raining cats and dogs all day.
Well, it's been raining for a few days, but like I said, there's no effort to celebrate on this side of the country. It's like it's a normal day.
Just a normal day. So no horse racing, no nothing. I remember back in the days we had big either at Alnis track, Crawford track, Port Morant, as we would call it, Port Morant, Rising Sun, and those no horse racing, nothing.
Well, there are some match races going on, but those allowed to do those things are party aligned folks. But people like us.
When you say party aligned folks, explain.
Well, people who are aligned to the PPP. I mean, if you were to go and try to get to do a horse race event, even a small one, you will not be allowed. Mm-hmm. Recently, some folks were trying to use the facility to have a fundraiser for themselves and other needs, and they were stopped. The following week, some other track had it, and nobody interfered with them. They had again today. Nobody interfered.
So these race courses, as you would say, are tracks. Once they are aligned to the PPP, they are allowed to operate without any hindrance. None whatsoever.
You do it, and everybody's happy.
This kind of reminds me of what James Bond. I'm reading what James Bond went through. That they wanted to shut him down last night. Shut him down. All the other places were open, but they want to shut James Bond down. And even though James Bond don't bother them, that's what they're doing on the quarantine, even with race. I'm sure if you had a horse racing event there at Alnis Racetrack, Crawford Racetrack, they would have attempt to shut you down as well.
Well, like I said, that happened a few weeks ago. It wasn't me, but it was some young folks in the
village, in the neighboring. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. But how does that make you? How does that make you feel, JR? Especially when you hear Irfan and some of his fans are talking about one Guyana. Well,
the folks here last week wanted to go out and protest, and I think one of the senior horse racing individuals stopped them from creating a national event. But eventually we are going to have to sort this thing out, and I'm hoping by April, it should be a green light for all of us. Because you can't have selective tracks doing certain things and nobody is stopping them from earning $1, but somebody else you're stopping. And it doesn't look good on the part of the PVP, because if you're stopping party aligned, people who does not subscribe to your party, but you're allowing your subscribers to do the same, we can't have that.
And this is what we talk about, this divided Guyana. But yet Irfan is talking about this one Guyana. But some folks overseas, they don't seem to get it. They seem to be grabbing on to what Irfan, some of them, not all of them, and some of these people, I'm surprised that they are grabbing on to this one Guyana thing when what you are there in Guyana, you are talking based on experience. I don't know, man.
Look,
JR, yeah,
I heard on another program that some fishermen are slated to go and protest. They were complaining about the behavior of the government. And I've said it before, from within the PPP, we will have a strong resistance. And I do hope that the coalition, latches onto that opportunity and, stand up for the Guyanese people. What we're seeing is not something that is good for this country. Democracy right now is on the back burner. And if we allow this thing to fester, it's going to be very hard for us as a nation, to have a proper life.
Very difficult. Extremely difficult. I see here Vicky Singh. Good evening to you, Vicky. Vicky Singh is saying, I don't like when they say one Guyana. It's one people, one nation, one Guyana. And Vicky Singh is correct. Look at it from here. Thank you so much, Vicky Singh, for that comment. I noticed there's somebody else, Janice is saying, Mark, Ben Sharp Radio is also broadcasting on CAMS TV. Our going on. What do you mean, our going on? It is broadcast via CAMS TV and other platforms. What do you mean, our going on? What's going on, Janice? Let's stay focused, please, guys. Let us stay focused, Janice. Good evening to you. Let us stay focused. Good. Look at this coat of arms. One people, one nation, one destiny. But Irfan Ali and these political vagabonds don't give a damn about this. One people, one nation, one destiny. It's one Guyana. What do they really mean by one Guyana, GR? And to all of our listeners as well. What exactly is Irfan talking about? There is no one Guyana under the PPP regime. Go ahead. You're one of my guests for the evening, but go ahead, JR.
Mark, look, that talk is just plain rubbish. What we are seeing in this country, we don't have a unified country. We have a 10% that's inside the circle that are benefiting from the goodies in this country, while 90% of this country is suffering. And not only are coalition supporters suffering, it's also the PPP supporters. So it's something that I've said 3 years ago, and I'm saying it again. Not until we stop the voting race and start to come together for the benefit of the poor are we going to see a better future in this country. The people who are still supporting this current administration and are suffering are totally clueless, or they're not intelligent enough to understand that sometimes you have to walk away from, the mom and pop business to get, better health. They're sticking with a party that is plain in plain view being divisive, and the caste system is in full operation in this country. And that is something that we cannot have here. When you work the caste system, you're going to have a lot of people suffering and very limited among who's going to benefit.
Some people might say, and correctly so, is that forget about the caste system. Forget about the caste system. Forget about the class system. It's a kleptomaniac system that is going on there, run by a bunch of vagabonds. And there are folks who are PPP supporters who are going through hell. They are going through hell. And these people in the PPP do not want, I'm talking about the hierarchy of the PPP, they do not want a unified Guyana at all, right? And look at what's going on in Blackbush Polder, JR, right? Look at what's going on in Blackbush Polder. Look at the conditions of the roads. I mean, this is not the situation because the coalition was in office. These folks were not being taken care of even when for the 23 years that the PPP was in office. They have neglected their supporters, their support base. But
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
that's what I'm saying. That the people who are supportive of the PPP party, they if they take a step back from it and look at it carefully, they might be a PPP supporter all their lives, but are they really benefiting from the government? No. It's only if you're inside the inner circle that you're allowed to benefit. Blackbush Polo is a main rice and cash crop point for us. Yet we are not seeing services and goods delivered to that area. I mean, it's we have also livestock. So when you look at this, you're saying here, we are supporting this party, but look at the way we are living. Look what we have to go through. We can't afford to drive our cars properly because the road condition. We are spending much more on repairs than we need to, and we're giving so much to the country's economy. So as long as we are not seeing that we are just giving a little bit just to survive and not benefiting to enjoy a proper life, we are not going to go anywhere. And as a people, we need to stop voting race.
Got you on that. All sides. I got you on that. Not just PPP people.
Now, I want to mention something. Part of the PPP survival and behavior, and a great part of it, is partly due to many black folks who have chosen an easy way to earn a living and doing wrong towards the citizens of this country for many years. And not until they become honest themselves that they are henchmen carrying out a mandate against the nation will we benefit. If you look at who is doing the wrong for the current administration, it's not the East Indians. The East Indians may benefit, but it's the black people who are the henchmen for this organization. And it goes back to show it's 400 years and it's still happening today. Some may disagree, but you look at all those people. Well, there you have it. It's a sellout mentality that is costing us our democracy in this country and is forcing many of us not to have a proper life.
All right. We can go on and on with these sort of things. But what is your message? Because there's really I feel a way to say to people, happy Mashramani. Happy Mashramani. What is there for us to be happy about?
There's nothing there, buddy. My message to the general populace: look at the Nigel Londons, the Glenn Louds, the Brian Max, the Udo Bess. Those are single individuals who have grown tired of the way the common person are being treated, and they have stepped out there, put everything on the line. Those are people we need to band ourselves around. And I was hoping to see that the coalition political parties were more vibrant out there with these individuals or plain ordinary citizens, making the point that our democracy has gone and the citizens are suffering. But, for some strange reason, the political parties, they have their own agenda. So by not being out there, the PPP is doing whatever they want to do. And the international world is not seeing a unified opposition, regardless of who was what or what. The whole idea is what we are now and what we are fighting for. All we need is services and goods. And once we were respected as a nation, we wouldn't have disagreement. And I can't see why it's so hard for the PPP to just deliver service and good and show the nation respect, stop the police brutality and the victimization, and they would have been in power. Just respect the needs of the people. You're an elected body, you're not there by force. But we are allowing ourselves to be treated this way because we support the wrongs and we don't say anything about it. Some of us are afraid to speak out. Some don't want to speak out. Some are not educated enough to know that their votes are causing a problem for the entire country.
Thank you.
So we need, as a nation, we need to come together, regardless of race, religion, or creed, and get these guys out of office and find a group of people who are going to look after the country's needs and put us back as a respectable nation instead of where we are going now, back on the blacklist.
Good. It seems as though we're heading right back on the blacklist. But I tell you what, JR, some people are singing for their supper. Some people are just doing it because they can just grab a piece of land and all manner of things they're doing. And then when folks go out to protest, they're asking the people, they're saying to the people, like one person yesterday in Queens saying to the people who were protesting against the Dildo Act guy, is that they are racist. Since when protesters are racist? JR, I gotta go, man. These guys, I mean, I got somebody else waiting. Lemon has indicated. We have Sharma Solomon waiting in Studio B. We gotta go, but as always, thank you so much for your time. But do you remember, JR, the days, those beautiful days when Blackbush Polo was Blackbush Polo, was like a little tongue, like a little New York. There was rice growing. There was everything. There was the GRB. There was everything in Blackbush Polo. The roads. Who built the roads, mind you? Was it Jack Dale or Irfan? Who built the road going into Blackbush? Maybe Curie, Les Biol, and all those housing communities.
That was built by Chedi and Burnham.
It all, 99%. 99 or 100% under Forbes Burnham leadership.
Well, the list of his achievements it's very, very long for us.
The roads and check those housing scheme, Maybe Curie, the hospital, the police station, the schools. Oh, we can go on and on, JR, on and on.
Blackbush is actually due for a township, my brother.
It can't be a township now under the PPP.
No, because it's in a deplorable state right now.
It's horrible, JR, horrible.
I think that was something that was under the table under the former administration. That it would have happened had they remained in office.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for your time. Right? Appreciate it. Yeah. Forget about some of the naysayers. I hear some of them on another, because this is on. We're streaming another platform. I heard some people cussing you, but let it cuss. This is what some of them good to do. Some of them, hold on, don't start. Don't, I'm cranking you up. Don't start up a second, right?
No.
Some of them believe
I
that
don't
they sit
care.
down in groups and that they sit down in groups and they can cuss. That's why they're there with there. It's
Here,
very
man.
competition going on with some of these people. You gotta go, JR. Don't worry.
I must say this.
Sure.
I don't look out my window for a political party on either side to bring me a piece of bread.
All right.
Where
we gotta go there.
and see. All right.
Thank you,
Good
JR.
night.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know why y'all cussing JR for. Why y'all want JR for talk only things that y'all like, some of y'all. And then when the guy doesn't think, y'all up on some other platform cussing him. Because some of y'all are no different than the PPP folks, the trench crappers. Y'all go cuss and who this and who that. Some of y'all in y'all groups, y'all WhatsApp groups and all kind of dotishness. But instead for y'all use that same damn energy to go after the PPP, fight the PPP, y'all only want to fight those who are brave enough to say what they have to say. Not all the times you got to agree with people. Do you think I agree with JR all the time? JR and I have disagreements. I don't agree with him all the time. But damn it, man. Damn it. You guys are something else, man. Y'all are ridiculous. Some of you guys are just like the trenchies. Maybe that's why we say trenchies. Some of you guys are just like the trenchies. Cussing going on. Cussing going on. Abusing. You abuse the PPP. Go in front Freedom House, abuse them. The PPP that's dividing Guyana right now, abuse them. Persecuting people, abuse them. Yeah, damn break some of you guys, man. Oh, sorry about that. I shouldn't be using that sort of language in front of the former chairman of Region Number 2. Mr. Solomon, assalamu alaikum and good evening, sir.
Region number 10, Mark. Wa alaikum assalam. Blessed good evening to you. And more than anything else, happy Republic to you and your audience, Mark.
What is so, correction, Region 2. Region 2. What is so happy about this Republic anniversary? What should we be happy or people should be happy about, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Solomon?
I think what we should be happy about, Mark, is that after 52 years and being the first CARICOM nation, the first nation to identify with the Caribbean region, to move towards that quest of Republican status, it demonstrates that willingness in Guyanese, that spirit in Guyanese. And I think that is where we have to be happy, that we still have within us that quest for self-determination. Republican status brought that about in terms of where we stood as colonial, in our colonial past, to break that bondage, to release ourselves, to be our final arbiter of decisions that will affect each and every single Guyanese. I think that is the spirit. The intent must be executed, and I think that is where we could be dissatisfied with the application of those things that should bring Guyanese the intent to make them happy. But the spirit, I think we should hold firm to that. We should not lose sight of that. We should not let any political movement or any political party, as we see in the case of what the PPP over the years have been doing with the Republican status of what Guyana achieved, because it was achieved under Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham. But Republican itself is celebrated on a very historic date for Guyanese also. The 23rd of February is when we had our first significant revolution in that part of the world. That revolution, the 1763 revolution, occurred before the Asian, the American, and even the French Revolution. So there are so many things that we should be prideful and happy about as a people, as a nation, that we should not allow any petty, divisive politics to take away from the spirit of what our 52nd Republican status should mean for us today.
That's a good way of looking at it, and that's a good way of looking at it. And the 1763, 23rd of February, and the rebellion led by Coffee and others is what paved the way for a free Guyana. It probably encouraged the others in other parts of the world also, where slavery was encouraged. And then after the 1763 monument and so forth, others were brave enough to rebel. And that is why we have a Guyana. The Guyana became free as a result.
Well, you see, you're saying a rebellion, Mark, but it was more a revolution, because a rebellion is to create an uprising. A revolution is to not only have an uprising, but to claim nationhood. And many times we forget that even in 1763, for almost 9 months, Comrade and General and Commander Coffee was considered as Governor Coffee, because a revolution.
And that's in the Berbice area as well, too. And people should know that Berbice came around as a result of coffee.
Certainly.
Kind of guys that they don't like a coffee.
So in that spirit of self-determination, that quest for revolution, and like I said, to have Guyana 52 years ago moving for a Republican status, it was the first Caribbean nation to do that. Again, moving away from one of the biggest colonial powers, as Coffee did with the Dutch, going against one of the biggest colonial powers. I think it is very reflective that we today, as Guyanese, should take very prideful and cognizant, be aware of what it means for a republic, what it means for our nation. And many times we only refer to our nation as Guyana, but we must remember our full name is the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. And that too was with every purpose and intent to demonstrate our ability to work together as a people. And I always reflect on this book by Pat Dial and the foreword done by our late poet Martin Carter, who recognized that the people of Guyana are people who work together, whether it was our Amerindian brothers and sisters who came together as hunter-gatherers and build a collective, whether it's our African brothers and sisters who, at the end of slavery, bought villages through the village movement by coming together, and even our Indian brothers and sisters and all those who make up that very complex society that we call Guyana that strives for one people, one nation, one destiny. It was on that foundation of coming together. It was on a cooperative spirit. So I think it's very genius of Burnham, of our late President Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, to not only incorporate that into the spirit of what Guyana is as a cooperative, but understanding that in cooperatives, it allows for the involvement of every single Guyanese in the decision-making process as we move for that quest of Republican status of self-determination. So I think it's very, very important that all of these dimensions be noted about what the importance of our republic mean. I think congratulations again to the people in Barbados. We see how much excitement and fanfare they would have committed themselves to have a new republic and the latest republic in the Caribbean, while we were the first to have such a status. And I think, again, Guyanese should be very, very proud of that and let no political movement, no political party take away the importance of such a status and what the spirit on that we should be building on as a people.
Well said. I notice Errol Hack is saying, we are not Caribbean, we are South American nation, bro. Errol Hack, good evening. Whilst it is true geographically we are in South America, all right, there's no question about that. At least those of us who know that know. I'm not sure if we ask a particular individual who was charged 19 fraud charges in Guyana whether he would know that. But Errol knows, and a bulk of us do know. So thanks, Errol. We are geographically we are located. Guyana is in South America, the only English-speaking country in South America. But do you know
what makes you Caribbean and CARICOM, Mark, is more than just
culture? Yeah,
it's so many things.
Yeah.
It's so many. It's historical past, our colonial past, our economic alignment, our so many things. So
I was going to say that
geographical location.
Yeah, I was going to say that to him. But thank you so much, the honorable chairman of Region 10. Former chairman of Region 10. Region 10, I got it correct this time. It's the culture and much more. And so while we know, yes, that Guyana is in South America, we are the only English-speaking country in South America. And we are also the only English-speaking country that when some of us go other places and we are speaking English to English people, we need an interpreter to interpret our English. Like through immigration or anywhere, we need an interpreter. People got to interpret for us. What he said, am I? What is he saying? I mean, I know, man. I make a thing of my paper, me draw my name on my paper. But look, this book, you guys got to get this book, man. I got it. Themes of Guyanese, African Guyanese history.
David Arthur.
Yeah. It's a bunch of authors. Winston Magawan, James Rose.
Pat Dial is there too.
Pardon me?
Winston McGowan and Pat Dial should be there too.
Yeah, they're all here. This book, read it. Read it. And I'm saying it in English. I read them. You need an interpreter? It means read it. Please get a copy of this book here. Sharma Solomon, what's going on with this one Guyana thing as opposed to this one people, one nation, one Guyana. But Irfan and them now cut it out and they just want one Guyana. Is there any evidence of such one Guyana under this?
Well, two things, Mark.
Yeah.
You don't arrive at concepts by just saying the word. And I want to say what the attempt is for this concept. It's to be ideological. It's an ideal. It's a value. It's something that people must hold on to and feel and believe. And we arrived at our motto, one people, one nation, one destiny, not by accident, but because of what it encompasses. And I gave some highlights of that a moment ago when I spoke about our cooperative spirit of working together and coming together and being a nation of 6 races and all the things that goes into that melting pot to make us strive for that desire of one people, one nation, one destiny. And that sort of ideological fashioning demonstrated itself in our institutions. It demonstrated itself in the culture of our politics. It demonstrated itself in our challenges, whether those were geopolitical in nature, whether it was in our non-alignment days. We have many reasons to say why we adopted that. And as you look on the second part, so that is the adoption. That is what one people, one nation, one destiny, being placed on our coat of arms. At the moment we got our ability for self-determination, cutting our final string from our colonial master, showing people in Guyana what we can strive to become in the 1970s and all the dynamics that went into what was occurring around the world. Now, this one Guyana concept is very empty, shallow, doesn't have any ideological grounding in its concept, doesn't have any attachment to the values on which we can hold on to. That's the first thing on how hollow and shallow it is. But for those who are propagating one Guyana, which happens to be the PPP and the government of Guyana at the moment, in their action, and I think when they say one Guyana, sometimes the evidence is in front of you, but it's hard to recognize, it's hard to believe, it's hard to accept. The one Guyana is a one-party Guyana. It's a one-minded approach to building Guyana. It's a one attitude of the PPP position of, and I'll give you why I say that. And we can look at every level for the past months, going on 2 years that the PPP have occupied office. Whether it's the COVID task force, it was made up of no one else except PPP representatives. Whether it's the Natural Resource Fund, whether it's the PPP's attitude in Parliament, and you put the speak in with that, whether it's the PPP's approach to the Island Gas Expo recently concluded, every single thing, even last night at the flag raising exercise, where you have an opportunity to bring Guyana together, you exclude, and it is just the PPP. So that for me is what represents one Guyana, one party domination, governance approach to ensuring Guyana is developed. That's what one Guyana means. But the concept that they're trying to promote is hollow because the actions being taken by the PPP doesn't reflect in the spirit of what they're trying to promote. So it's not ideologically grounded. It is not demonstrated in fact. It is not promoted in the spirit of good governance. And I think that is where you see institutions such as the USAID. That is where you see even President Biden in his congratulatory note to the people of Guyana on the Republic is talking about democracy and democratic values, because those things allow for inclusionary democracy on which the foundation of our Constitution is built, where it's Article 13 for the participation of everyone to have meaningful dialogue, to have meaningful say and meaningful participation in how Guyana is developed. So when you see those echoes are being made, even from the Barbadian president, prime minister, Mia Mottley, even from the Ghanaian president and the Surinamese president, they're all saying that you have to build the nation with an inclusionary understanding. But yet still, the People's Progressive Party screaming, bawling, one Guyana, demonstrating a complete opposite to what it means to be one Guyana.
I know we're seeing that evidence. You think Maya Mottley and the presidents of Suriname and Ghana saw that whilst they were there? And if they did, do you think that they show any evidence that they're concerned about this hypocrisy of one Guyana by the PPP?
Two things, Mark. You don't be a foreign leader being invited to such a forum and don't have your research and background information. Those leaders are not, I be very local in my dialect, Paku. Those people they're not outside of understanding where Guyana stands. They're not unaware. In fact, Mia Mottley played a very pivotal role for where Guyana is right now. So I don't think she is speaking from a position of ignorance. What is contradictory in what was said by her, however, is one where this is being promoted, but yet still there is an acceptance of such behavior from the People's Progressive Party. And one could understand what self-interest is, because that's the realism in the politics of statehood and nation states, that self-interest is what prevails over friendship. But nevertheless, unavoidable is what they had to say, is that they had to recognize in that research, in the background checks of where Guyana stands as it moves towards this massive development with oil resources, is that it's a very divided nation. Like I said before, the President of the United States of America will not talk about democratic values unless there's the absence of democracy in Guyana. And many times we tend to think that free and fair elections are the end-all, be-all of democratic values, without understanding the essence of good governance, without understanding the ability to have the involvement of all in the country through the different institutions and allowing institutions to work, such as the courts, not to cuss them out the way Dharam Lal would have cussed out the two judges, but to allow the society to be able to use these institutions and be able to allow the nation to work the way it should. So, yeah, Mark, I think they are well aware, but I think there was some amount of hypocrisy in their awareness because of self-interest of where Guyana stands in terms of its oil resources.
Well, they probably forget about Maya, because Maya, I don't have a black book, but Maya, I used to like her. But because of what the hypocrisy, you just mentioned the hypocrisy, is in the course of the elections that she was embracing real rigors. Maybe she's aware now that she has embraced real rigors. But people like Maya Mottley, the president of Ghana, the president of Suriname, they're actually looking out for their interests, their own interests. They're not country's interest first, their image first, country second. So sometimes we can't blame them. Let's go. They got a comment here from Brenda Casey. Brenda is saying here that she's not impressed with President Biden's attitude in his letter to Guyana. You have read that letter. What is your take on the letter? And does Brenda have a point?
Well, two things to Brenda's point. I think first is that Guyanese must recognize that Guyana is for Guyanese. We own Guyana. We are the people that will make the change. Those who represent the interests of democratic values, those who represent to see freedom to see liberty, to see justice, to ensure that society works based on how the international order recognize you as a state. They're looking on, and they're going to play their part where necessary and once the opportunity is provided. But it requires Guyanese to raise their voices in objection to wrongs within society. It requires Guyanese to identify the things that are against the constitutional orders that they have every right to object to. So whether it is they have the right to protest, to picket, whether it is they have the right to, as people in the diaspora, to engage congressmen and senators and people in the State Department, whether it is they have a right to object to what they see as mistreatment by their government, it starts with Guyanese. So until and unless Guyanese start to demonstrate that in a manner that brings the attention, and we've already started, because again, don't believe these foreign powers. And when you look at language from a foreign relation perspective being included in such a letter from President Biden, identifying key things about working together, about democratic values, about the involvement of Guyanese and this in the decision-making process, I think at least the letter gives recognition that on the first principle, as long as Guyanese continue to demonstrate their issues that are affecting them, that those foreign powers will identify what they are. It is for Guyanese to say what action we first want to take, and then to provoke such an action to be supported by those foreign powers. Because at the end of the day, Mark, nations are all about self-interest. Though they're promoting democratic values and norms, we must not forget that Guyana today is an oil-producing nation. Guyana today is considered one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Guyana today is one of the most best positioned in terms of geopolitics that represents for American interests and American companies' interests than any other part of the Caribbean and in Latin America.
But just to say that Guyana today is also under the PPP gone right back up in the corruption index.
Well, we saw them fall off a few points, fell a few points off, and the vice president tried to justify that.
And Guyana today is basically, there's no justification. Barra Jagdeo cannot sit and justify. His studies of economics was over 40-something years ago, and a lot of the theories are no longer recognizable. So he's bluffing his way. So he needs to sit down in a chair and discuss the Sioux issue before he comes and try to brainwash the masses. People are not buying into him. Now, in terms of this sort of Guyana that they have, again, there is no evidence of the one Guyana. And you are correct. The democratic values and all these things have gone through the door. They want to control Guyana. But as citizens of the country, people need to stand up. People need to defend it by every legal means necessary. This one Guyana stuff is a facade. And speaking of which, let me remind folks that they're talking about a one Guyana again. Well, they had some one Guyana stuff out there in New Jersey. I hope it was just basically a failure because these folks, the organizers, are probably out for a little bit of a hustle. So I don't want them to try to hustle or disrespect me or listeners into believing that they're embracing people like Dharamlal and calling it one Guyana when the evidence is totally to the contrary. Tomorrow's event, I'm asking folks who are in Brooklyn to head out to this part here and protest. Protest because I'm told that Dharamlal is going to be there. Protest. Somebody said that they actually got in touch with the pastor of the church and the pastor started abusing them, right? So the pastor started abusing them. I don't know what's going on, but the pastor abused them. I'm looking at the message. The individual actually said that he also called the pastor, and during his explanation to the pastor views and hung up. All right. So I probably don't want to hang out at such a church that they don't want to listen to the cries and the concerns of the people. And maybe some of these individuals are more looking at whatever kind of donation that they will be getting in the collection basket and so forth. I don't know. It's a sad situation. But what I do know is some of our technical guys want to go and have an early night tonight, Mr. Solomon. So let's close off. Let's let's leave Guyanese with something to hold on to, some sort of, like keeping hope alive, something to hold on to, man. It's not all that bad from the standpoint of our future once these vagabonds are out of office. But leave them with something nice.
Well, Mark, on this, the Republic and the Republic anniversary, I think there is no better no better perspective to draw from, or Guyanese should be able to not reflect on. And like I said, it is more than our republic. The date is very, very significant. And in that itself provides the sort of hope and provides the sort of template in which Guyanese should reflect on to draw strength on how to approach the challenges ahead of them, on how to approach overcoming the sort of dictatorial behavior by the People's Progressive Party, the sort of violations that we see without no regards for consequences. I think those are the sort of events, the revolution of 1763 and our independence, that our Republican status that we acquired from our colonial past, says to us that self-determination, people's ability to be part of the decision-making process, people's ability to create the sort of change that moves society in a direction that people can say they're free men and women, I hold very dearly. And I ask Guyanese this evening to hold those values very dearly. There is no concept that one Guyana is built on that demonstrates one Guyana. It's one party running Guyana, one set of people running Guyana, one class of people running Guyana. And it's not for all Guyanese, it's for a few. So hold firm to those values that say that you, the majority, who are going to the store every day and cost a living beating you left, right, and center, you Guyanese, who don't feel connected to the national patrimony, especially in this island gas boom that we're having. Hold firm that those few men and women that continue to take advantage of you, you come from a strong people, you come from strong roots who've always promoted self-determination, and they've always rose to the challenge, conquer, and overcome. And I'm certain Guyanese will conquer and overcome these challenges of our times.
Absolutely well said, Mr. Chairman of Region Number 10, the former chairman of Region Number 10. They had a flag-raising ceremony held, and instead of the region chairman, the current regional chairman, to be there in Linden to raise that flag, he went away in Kokwani. Not to say that they shouldn't go in Kokwani, to give way to the guy who sits there as Foreign Affairs Minister, Todd, to raise that flag out there in Linden. My take is the chairman should have stayed right there in Linden, raised the flag, give his speech, and not allow Todd and these guys to just barge in.
I was always there in Linden, Mark, to challenge Lumumba, to challenge Gail Teixeira, to challenge any minister that they sent to use the national event to highlight the travesties and transgressions within our community that were being caused by those national leaders.
Absolutely.
That's all I'll say on that.
Too much infighting, man. Too much chit-chatting on groups. They seem to be fighting more in groups, in their WhatsApp groups, than they are fighting the PPP. I don't know. And then for the PPP, when they take photographs with some members of the opposition, we say, oh, we hear some of them are saying, this is what one Guyana is about. That's not what Guyana is about. It's just for the moment. And whose purpose does it serve? The PPP, for propaganda purpose. I don't know. Sharma Solomon, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me on, Mark. And again, Happy Republic.
Give my you did say Happy Republic again, right?
Yes.
Happy Republic. Well, guys like Coffee fought for Guyana to be
exactly. That's what I'm saying too.
Right.
Guys like Coffee, very grateful.
And had it not been for folks like Coffee, and his men, them Coffee, Berbice Rebellion, 1763. We have villages such as Alnis, Kildonan, Eversham, Epsom, Brighton, Port Morant, Mighty Curie, Les Beholden, Philippi. Oh, Coffee. Thank you so much, Coffee. You guys want to get this book, man. Get this book. Sharma, did you get a copy of this?
Yes, I got one directly from David Grange himself while president.
All right. President David Arthur Granger. Some will, a lot of folks will definitely get to understand the value of him. He's made some mistakes, yes, but they'll get to understand the value of David Granger during the 5 years of the coalition government, which wasn't easy. Probably the only coalition government that lasted for 5 years throughout the world. In Israel and other places, every 6 months they're broken up. Y'all gonna realize the value of people soon. I heard something to the effect that let me clarify it first, but let me not mention it, but let me say this, that tomorrow evening, you're right to laugh, Mr. Salman, you're right to laugh. Let's clarify first. Tomorrow evening, I'll have as my guest a former reporter of the New York Times. Also, my guest is a former producer of Vice News. So tomorrow is going to be interesting right here on 107.1 FM. Mr. Sharma, you see me? I mean, you see me? Did I say sue? Thank you so much, man. God bless you, Mr.
Same to you, Mark. Stay blessed, brother.
Thank you. All right. Hey, guess what? Don't worry with those guys and this one guy and a thing, man. It's just a bunch of crap. Right, Gary Greenwich? Just a bunch of crap. What Gary's saying here. Let's see what Gary Greenwich is saying here. Mark, every time the PPP chant one Guyana, we should counter chant. Yes, one people, one nation, one destiny. That's exactly what it is, Gary. One people, one nation, one destiny. All right, I'll be back tomorrow with my guest, former New York Times reporter, former New York Times reporter, and also former executive producer of Vice News is going to be with me tomorrow, right here on 107.1 FM. We have lots to talk about with that individual. You'll see when he shows up tomorrow, right here on 107.1 FM. But for those of you who can head out tomorrow in front of that church, let that pastor know. I think his name is, I don't want you guys to see my facial expression when I pronounce his name. Cockhill. Sorry about that. But something like that he names. His last name is, and it's not making mockery of his last name, but I'm glad that you weren't able to see my facial expression. But until tomorrow, same place, same time, wake up, guys. Wake up. As Lemon would say, wake up. Talk to the youths then. Wake up, people. Wake up. All of you Guyanese, wake up. Stop this chatting crap inbox and all these things. Stop it. Focus your energy on the real enemy. Those people who are parading as one Guyana, they're the political enemy. They are the political enemy. Good night to you, Miss Faust. Hurry up and run for some office again. Let me support you. Again, Miss Valerie Faust. Hurry up and run for some office again. So nice of you to tune in almost every time you get the opportunity. God bless you, Pastor Valerie Faust. Hurry up and run for some office. Let me support you 100% and join your campaign. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time, with my guest, former New York Times reporter and former producer of Vice News, is going to be with me tomorrow. God bless you, and God bless the beautiful country we call Guyana. So long.
She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockacrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockacrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockacrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now a come home. Inaga, jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side. A Rexy and Rover, from the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.